Welcome to operating system class. In this class, we will be talking about paging. So, paging was an advanced way where we are talking about first about the internal fragmentation, followed by the external fragmentation, then segmentation. After that, we were talking about this paging. So this paging activity has a lot of transportation towards memory management unit. So this paging, it is implemented on physical addresses, and of course paging, it is going to be a part of a non-contiguous allocation. The basic aim why paging is going to be conquered will be one, it is going to avoid the external fragmentation. So in external fragmentation, we illustrated that the shuffling of a memory is going to happen. So to shuffle that memory, compaction is going to come into picture, and that compaction, it is having some varied sized memory blocks. So the basic drawback in the external fragmentation was the memory block or the memory chunk is not going to be of a fixed size. So all the varied size of blocks are there and they are going to be shuffled. So these are the major contingencies where the paging has to be evaluated to sort out the issues which are going to be raised during the external fragmentation. So one simple solution people are going to propose towards it was they need to have a pages and they are looking for page frames. So pages, they are going to be associated with the physical memory, and the pages, they are going to be associated with the logical memory. So page frames, they are going to be associated with the physical memory, and pages, they are going to be associated with the logical memory. As far as page is going to be concerned, it is going to be implemented by the random access memory, and these addresses are going to be raised by the memory unit. As far as logical addresses or as far as virtual addresses is going to be concerned, these virtual addresses, they are going to be taken up as central processing unit or the CPU raised addresses, and they are going to take up these pages. Now, the scenario when we begin this paging was, the previous problem was the memory chunk was varied size. The memory chunk was varied size. Now, in paging, the first word you are going to say equal size is going to be maintained. Equal size is going to be maintained. That was the key takeaway why this paging is going to be evaluated. So second thing, the size of a frame is equals to size of a page. The second key takeaway what we should understand towards this paging was the size of a page is equals to the size of a page frame. And then the memory management unit, it is going to keep track of what are the available pages, what are the available frames, so what is the free space, all that it is going to be having a mechanism so that it keep tracks of all the free pages or all the page frames. Fine. So now we can see here the thing is going to be measured either in 2 power n or it is going to be measured with 2 power m. So we can see here the general way of representation of a page is going to be 2 power n, and it is going to be either towards 512 bytes, 16 MB. In this way we are going to assign a size of a page. So now how to translate or how to keep these addresses, that was the thing. So to translate these physical addresses to a virtual address and to maintain a strategy with the memory management unit, we do have these page tables. We do have these page tables. So page tables, now they are going to translate the physical addresses with the virtual addresses or vice versa. Okay, fine. Now, okay, external fragmentation has been taken up and varied sized drawback has been taken up. Now, still, is there a thing whether internal fragmentation is going to happen? Yes, internal fragmentation still happens. The reason was I am assigning this 16 MB is going to be a page size. 16 MB is going to be a page size, and you can see here assume the program size. Assume process 1 size is some 15.5 MB. So now this 0.5 is going to have some extra memory location, is going to have some extra memory location. So this is where the user program or user process is going to reside, and the rest of the space is still free. So allotting this rest of a still space despite the need which is slightly greater than the need, we do call this one as some internal fragmentation. We are going to call that mechanism as internal fragmentation. So as the pages and as the page frames are going to be fixed size, and if the process size was less than the page size, definitely there will be the mechanism towards internal fragmentation. Fine. Now, I was mentioning I am going to have a page table. The other name for a page table, we call it as some page map table. We call it as some page map table. Now, this page table, it is going to map the virtual addresses with the physical addresses. It is going to map the virtual addresses with the physical addresses. Okay, who is rising this virtual addresses? CPU. Who is rising this physical addresses? Memory unit. Now, how is this physical address or how is this virtual address represented? So, the virtual address is going to be represented with page number, and it is going to be represented with page offset. It is going to be represented with a page number, and it is going to be represented with a page offset. So, page number we represent it with P, and page offset we are going to represent it with D here. So now I have the first position with the page number, and the next position I am going to call it as a displacement. The other name of a displacement, we are going to call them at a offset. Altogether, this page number and offset, they are going to generate up this the effective address. Now, how much size this page number is going to occupy? It is going to occupy m minus n. How much size this page offset is going to occupy? It is going to occupy some n. Okay, what is n and what is m? So here we can see here the logical address space. The logical address space is going to be 2 power m, and the page size is going to be 2 power n, and page size is equals to page frame size. Page frame size. Logical addresses, they are generated by the CPU. Then page frame, which are going to be in part of a memory unit, they are going to be generated by the memory unit. So here we are going to call it as some physical addresses. Got it? So we have page number and we have page offset. So this page number and page offset, they are going to be generated virtually with the CPU. So that is the reason why we are going to call it as a logical address space, which it is going to be some 2 power n, and the page size is going to be some 2 power n. Fine. After that, now we need to converge the logical addresses towards the physical address. We need to convert the logical address to the physical address. Okay. Now, first one, we assume P is going to represent the page, F it is going to represent the frame, and the left hand side, what we are going to assume, it is towards the CPU. The right hand side, which we are going to assume, it is towards the random access memory. Now you can see a page map table, a page table, which it is going to convert the logical address, to the physical address, which it is going to convert the logical address to the physical address. So one thing is interesting that the displacement, whatever displacement value is going to be there, which is generated by the same content, it will be same as in the physical address. The reason is page size is equals to frame size. So page size is equals to frame size, and there is no variation, in displacement, nor we can say there is no variation in offset D. Got it? Then we are going to assume a page table. Now towards the left hand side, it is going to put up the pages, and inside it, it is going to put up the frames. So how a paging hardware is going to be maintained was CPU does this P and D, and it is going to be mapped to a physical address with F and D, and a page map table it is going to have between pages and frames. But as it is a fixed size content, there won't be any variation, for the displacement. That is the reason why the displacement is going to be constant, why the displacement is going to be, there is no variation in the displacement. If the CPU is going to generate A100, and if it needs to go to some here, it is going to move some F100. So that is how we have to interpret. So A100, it is going to be mapped with F100, and here if I am going to add plus 50, here I do add plus 50. There won't be any change in the addresses. Fine. Now let us look this model, how a page map table is going to be linked up with the page tables. So here we do have a page table 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. These items we are going to call it as pages 1, 4, 3, 7. These we are going to call it as frame numbers. So 0, 1, 2, 3 we are going to call it as page numbers. 1, 4, 3, 2 we are going to call it as frame numbers. Then 0, 1, 2, 3 they are going to be called it as virtual, nor they are going to be called it as logical addresses. So these it is going to be generated by the CPU. Then CPU is going to generate it. Then here we do have 1, 4, we have 1, 4, 3 and 7. They are going to be called it as physical addresses. Physical addresses are nothing but which it is going after this. We do have this mechanism, and this mechanism it is going to pose up the variations which they are going to be occurring here. So what will be those variations? Here we can have a clear cut idea here. So in this we can say 0, 1, 2, 3 they are going to be pages here. So page 0, page 1, page 2, page 3 is going to be given. Then 1, 4, 3 and 7 they are going to be called here as some frames, and 0, 1, 3 we are going to be call them as pages here, right? Next one. So page frame 1 page. So frame 1 will hold page 1. Frame 4 will hold page 2, page 1. Okay, so this holds page 0, and again frame 3 will hold page 2, and page 3 you can say frame 7 will hold page 3. So that is why we can say here page 1 and it is going to hold up page 0. Similarly, I do have frame 4 and it is going to link up the word called as page 1. Similarly, I am going to have we do have this page frame 7 and it is going to point out towards the page 3. So that is how we should understand how a logical memory is going to be mapped towards a physical memory. Fine. Now, let us look into one more example where the paging is going to be illustrated. Let us look into one more example where a paging is going to be illustrated. So, in this simple example, we are going to say n is equals to 2 and m is equals to 4, and we do this one we are going to call it as a virtual address space, and another we are going to call it as page space. So we are going to call one as 2 power n, another we are going to call it as 2 power m. So a quick recap I can show you here. So we were telling that the logical address space is going to be some 2 power n and page size is going to be some 2 power n. Okay, so the logical space, the entire virtual or entire logical address space is going to be some 2 power m. The entire page space is going to be some 2 power n. So here we can assume that is 2 square is equals to some page size, and 2 power 4 that we are going to say it is 16 here and it is 4 here. So 16 we are going to call it as some logical address space. It is going to be called it as logical address space, and this logical address space is going to be implemented with say 4 byte of pages. They are going to be represented with some 4 byte pages. So now we can understand the illustrations here. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3. They are going to point out the page numbers, and 5, 6, 1, 2. They are going to represent the frame numbers. Okay, 5, 6, 1, 2. 5, 6, 1, 2. They are going to represent the frame numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3. They are going to represent the page numbers. Got it? Now assume that the fifth frame should have page of 0. Assume that fifth frame should have content of 0. Now we are going to call it as 4 byte page. Now we are going to assume it as 4 byte page. Now what is frame size here? Frame is equals to 5. So 5 into 4 we are going to call it as 20. Therefore A, B, C, D is going to be moved into this scenario. Next one, frame is equals to some 6. Then byte page size is equals to some 4 bytes. So 6 4s are 24. So 6 4s are 24. So now we are going to move up to this, and now 24. So now it is going to point out this page 1, which it is going to point out to this location here. So that is how we are going to get these items. So this is 4 byte queue, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3. So it is 4 byte. Another 4 byte, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. So that is the reason why we are going to get it here, E, F, G, H. Next one, again, frame is equals to 1. Frame is equals to 1, and it is going to map it with 0, 1, 2, and 3. 0, 1, 2, and 3 here. So frame is equals to 1 and page size is equals to some 4b. So 1 into 4 we are going to get this 4. So that one we are going to move up to this place, and it is marked to second page. Therefore the second page content is going to be dragged towards the page frame here. Similarly, we have another one, that is frame is equals to some 2. Frame is equals to some 2, and it is going to map to page number. It is going to map to the page number 3, and it is going to occupy 4 bytes. So 3 into 2, I mean, we do have these items. So we have this, so page number is going to be 3 here, and page size is going to be 4. So 3 into 4, we are going to call here as 12 here. So, so here the page 2 here. So sorry, 2 into 4, we are going to get this 8 here. So that is the reason why we are dragging up all these elements M and Q here, and we are going to bring up into this 8th item. So the paging example, we can see that the 4 byte page is going to be there, and the page is going to be mapped to the page frame, and page frame is equals to 5, and the total page size is 420. So the 0th is going to be mapped to the 5th position. So that is the reason why we are going to bring up into this entity. So does paging have internal fragmentation? The answer was yes. Does paging has internal fragmentation? The answer was yes. So here I'm going to say page size was 1024, that is I'm going to say 20410, we call it as KB, and 1024 we are going to call it as KB. So this is called as 1 MB, and this is called as 1 MB. We are going to get it as 2048. That's where we are going to call it as 2 MB. So 2 MB, we are going to point it out with the 2048, and the process requires only 72,766. So obviously we do have the number of pages which are going to be allocated with 2 power m and 2 power n, right? So 2 power m, it is going to give the logical address space. It is going to give the logical address space, and 2 power n, it is going to give the page size. It is going to give the page size. So total number of pages was 35, and still we do have this item 1086. So this 10 space is free space, or we are going to call it as some extra space. We are going to call it as free space or an extra space. So now 962 will be an extra space here, so that it is going to rise up the internal fragmentation. 962, it is going to rise up the internal fragmentation. So we talked about this paging, and in this paging we have mapped out the page map table, which maps the logical addresses with the physical addresses, and thereby we have taken a paging example, and which it is going to conclude the page frame size is equals to 4, and the order we have taken up. Then we have taken up this internal fragmentation, and internal fragmentation, it is going to be assumed with some 2 megabytes of content, and the total size is given as 2 power n. So then the total number of pages is going to be allocated will be 72,666 bytes, and extra bytes was 1086, and this 1086, when it is going to be subtracted with this, we are going to get a free space of 962 bytes. So this is where an internal fragmentation is going to be occurred. Now, fine, we talked about paging. Then we say there are some mechanisms which are going to map the physical addresses with the virtual addresses. Now we can see two terms here. One we are going to call it as before allocation. Another we are going to call it as after allocation. One we are going to call it as before allocation. Two we are going to call here as an after allocation. So in before allocation, we assume the first in first out order. So the things which are going to be given in this darkened color, they are going to be free here. So I can say 13, 14, 15, 18 and 20. These items, they are going to be free. So they are free spaces, and followed by 16, 17, 19 and 21. 16, 17, 19 and 21. We can say they are used pages. So free pages and used pages, right? Now assume that we need to accommodate 14, 13, 18 and 10 and these items. So these are going to be a free list. Now new processes, they are going with page 0, page 1, page 2 and page 3. Now how do we allocate the items? So here we are going to get this page map table. We are going to get a new process for a page map table or a page table. So 0, 1, 2, 3, we are going to call it as some, we are going to call some as some uh, um, virtual addresses. We are going to call them as logical or virtual addresses, and here they are going to rise the pages 14, 13, 18 and 20. They are going to be called it as frames. So and here it is going to be generated by the physical addresses. Got it? Next one. So now we can illustrate 14th frame is given to page 0, and similarly 20th is going to be given to page 3. So 20th frame assigned to 20th frame is assigned to 3. Similarly 14th frame is assigned to 0. So that is how we are going to interpret. So so 20th frame you can say it is assigned to 3, and similarly 14th frame is assigned to some page 0. So it is going to work in first out order, and 15 is still not allocated. So still therefore the items are going to be in a free frame list. So it is going to maintain some queue here. So queue mechanism is going to be taken up. So it is with this 14 has been itemed, 8, 13, 18, 20, and only 4 pages are freely available. 4 pages are freely available. So that is the reason why before allocation we do have all this scenario, and after allocation now the free space is going to have only 15th item to be enrolled. Fine. As mentioned, so page table, it is going to be kept in main memory. One more thing, one more understanding what we are going to assume here will be the page table. It is going to be kept in the random access memory. That is what we are going to call it as a main memory here. And every page table do have PTBR, page table base register, and it do have page table length register. Earlier we have segment table base register, we have segment table limit register. Now we are going to have page table base register, page table limit register. We do have the same items. So it is going to take up the base, or it is going to take up the starting, it is going to take up the starting address, and this one it is going to take up the length. The length we are going to say size. So how much the page table is going to be spread, so that item is going to be taken up with this page table limit register. So we have these allocations. We have these allocations either for a data, nor it can be a instruction, right? I'm going to say move, I'm going to say move a comma b here. So I can say, or I can say move move ax comma 10. So 10 and ax, now they are going to be this data here, and entire move a comma b we can assume here as a instruction here. So how is this problem of page table implementation is going to be solved? Means it is going to be solved by using high speed memory. It is going to be worked with a high speed memory, and that high speed memory we are going to call here as a cache organization, and this it is going to use for searching. So and the cache organization here it is mentioned as associative memory, or we are going to call it as translation look aside buffers.
we call them as associated memory, nor we are going to call it as translation look aside buffers. That means we have registers, we have a register, then we do have cache memory, and thereby we have the thereby we are going to have the random access memory. This was the architecture. So we have first one as registers, next one as cache memory, and thereby it is going to have random access memory. Then we are going to have the secondary memory. So content will be moved from secondary memory to random access memory to a cache memory, and cache memory towards the register, and thereby towards the CPU. That is first approach. Coming to the second approach, it moves from secondary memory, to the random access memory, and from random access memory, it directly moves to the register. No cache here. That is where we are going to take up the second architecture. But when we are going to use a concept of translation look aside buffers, when we are going to use a concept of associative memory, here we are going to check up with this with new way with the cache, where we are going to use the translation look aside buffers. Okay, so how we are going to identify or how we are going to implement the page table in the associative memory bunch, it is going to be taken up with some identifiers as you have your unique IDs. Similarly, the memory do have some unique item identifiers that we are going to call here as an address space identifiers. We do have those items as an address space identifiers, and this address space identifiers, so it is going to be very tiny. It can hold up to 64 entries, or it can hold up to some 1024 entities. So the size of the cache or the size of the address space is going to be very limited in scope, so that it can be identified very quickly. For that, it is not containing the entire content of the memory. It is going to hold only the reserved locations, and those reserved locations, it is going to put it into this address space identifier. Fine. If the item is going to be found in this translation look aside buffer, then we are going to call it as hit is success. We are going to call it as hit is success. Then we say cache hit. And if the item is not going to be found, then we are going to call it as cache miss. So then when the cache miss is going to be happen, so it needs to reiterate the process, it needs to reload the value. So it needs to reload the value so that it can have some quick access, towards the memory location. Got it? So the items which are going to be more frequent, those more frequent items, they are going to be brought into the cache, and those frequent items are going to be taken up in the associative memory, and there they are going to be given up with this address space identifiers there. And if the CPU needs those items, yeah, it will goes to the cache memory, bring it up. So there is no delay here. If the item asked by the CPU was with it, then we are going to call it as cache hit, and cache hit is available. Then we are going to say TLB, translation look aside head buffer hit, and if it doesn't fit there, then we are going to call it as cache miss here. So, okay, cache miss has happened. What the TLB miss has happened. So, what to do this? Now, the thing was, go to the secondary memory, take up the item what we need, put it into the primary memory, and bring this item to the cache memory, so that the faster access can happen. Okay, CPU needs some data, and that data was available in the cache memory. It just goes and pick it up. So then the hit is successful, cache hit is good. But if the item is missed, what was the way to grab that item? To grab that item was very simple, that it says that TLB is miss. That means definitely the item will be in the secondary memory. So go to the secondary memory, bring it to the primary memory, then put it towards the cache memory and give it to the CPU. So that is how the point was taken up. And associative memory, and as far as associative memory is going to be concerned, so associative memory does use for searching. Associative memory does used for searching, nor we are going to make some, it is going to have some fast access of data or fast access towards the addresses. So it is going to have some combination. It is going to have some combination. So as it is going to be combination, A is associated with B. That means you make a relation between A and B. That means you can make a pair. We can make a pair here. So that pair is going to be associated. That one, it can be a page or it can be a frame. One, it can be a page or it can be a frame. So how does this associative memory is going to be worked? Means this associative memory, it is going to be done in cache memory. It is going to be done up in the cache memory, and here it is going to support parallel searches. It is going to support the parallel searches. So as far as parallel search is going to be taken up, so here you can see P is an associative register. You get out of this frame. Otherwise, you can remain this page frame. So if the item is available, yeah, we can remain it. If the item is not available, okay, bring that item, fill up this page. So let us have a clear distinction of how the hardware implementation of a translation look-aside buffers is going to be happening. So TLB, it stands for translation look-aside buffer. It stands for translation look-aside buffer, and it is going to happen with one of a type of cache organization, and there we have this word called as some associative memory. Associative memory. Here the associative memory was, there is a pair. What was the pair? Pair will be page number and pair will be some frame number. So that is how we are going to merge it. What is P here? P, it is going to stands for a page. What is F here? F, it is going to stand up for a page called as frame. One, it is going to be called it as page. Another, it is going to be called it as frame. So now CPU, it is going to rise up the logical addresses. Memory unit, it is going to write up the physical addresses. So the physical memory, now we are going to have a random access memory. There it is going to launch up the physical addresses. CPU, it is going to generate the logical addresses. Now you need a conversion, you need a translation mechanism. So between physical to logical. So for that we are going to use this page table. So you can assume that physical addresses will be translated to logical, or you can see here. So logical addresses, they are going to be converted to physical addresses. Logical addresses, now they are going to be converted to the physical addresses. So now you can see P is going to start up with a page and F, it is going to start up with a frame. So you can see here the page is going to be represented with P and frame is going to be represented with F, and offset or displacement remains same, will remains same. Either an offset or a displacement, it is going to remain same either at a logical address or it is going to remain same either at a physical address. Okay, fine. Now let us bring this scenario. CPU is going to search. It is going to search for an item, and the item is found. We are going to call it as TLB hit. Not found, then we are going to call it as TLB miss. Item is found, okay, then we are going to call it as TLB hit. Item was not found, then we are going to assume it as TLB miss there. Got it? So first of all, CPU will search everything in the associative memory, that is nothing but the translation look-aside buffers, and if the item is fine, it is good. If the item is found, we are going to call it as TLB and it is going to map the addresses. And if the thing was not found, what was the way of getting it? Yeah, it is moving to the physical addresses. It is moving to the page table,
and from that page table it is going to map to this addresses, and thereby it is going to get the displacement and move it towards the physical address. So first of all, it is going to take up with the, first of all, it is going to search the items in the translation look aside buffers. If the item is found, okay, it is having a quick search and thereby it directly maps to the physical address. If the item is not found, if the item was not found, so automatically it goes to the page table and it will search that item, because this item is not going to be frequent. The items what here we are going to call it as frequent items, and the items which are going to be missed we are going to call it as non-frequent items. The items which are going to be with this page frame and pages, they are going to call it as frequent items, and the items which are going to be migrated in this page table will be the non-frequent items. So frequent items, it is going to get it from the associative memory, and non-frequent items, it is going to get it from the page table. So that is how a translation lookup is going to identify the things. Yeah, hit ratio is that how much we are going to be successful, that is the total cache hit happened or not. So how much data is going to be retrieval, and it is going to access how effective time it is going to be managed with this organizing the data. So with this, we can wind it off for today. Yeah, thank you for joining the class.